What up, everybody? Welcome to Legacy TV and the Convo podcast. And today, I got a special guest for you guys. I got the motherfucking beast in the house. We got Christian Aguilera over here.
Yes, sir.
And you know, he came through the neighborhood today, and we're going to chop it up about what he's got going on, what he's been going through, what he's going to be doing, because the man is doing lots of big things. So, welcome to the show, brother. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Respect. So Christian, I don't know. I grew up out here in Orange County, so I'm a Santa Ana boy. So I kind of like people that follow me kind of know my history now through the podcast, but I don't know too much about you. I know I've heard a lot of great things through the grapevine because I know a lot of people that you've trained with, that I've trained with, or have been around, and I've heard nothing but that dude's a fucking monster. He's a beast, got hands, and then I've seen you fight as well. So I'm like, seeing you fight, I'm like, yeah, that's my style of fight. I like people that go out there and put it on the line, kill or be killed style of fighting, and throw it. You know what I mean? And that's what you do, bro. So I was already kind of following what you do. But where did you grow up at? Did you grow up in OC?
I grew up in Whittier until like 7th grade. I grew up out there, and then I moved. 7th.
So elementary school, all that in Whittier.
Yeah,
in
right
LA?
at the transition, going into middle school, and then
what schools did you go out there?
I went to La Calima, and then I went to Granada for a year.
La Calima sounds like a predominantly like SA neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm too light skinned. I don't speak Spanish. I'm like, fuck, we're at a disadvantage here.
What was it like? Did you remember, have memories of growing up in LA?
Yeah, a little bit, but like
it was very young.
Things were different back then, I
don't remember hardly shit because I was born in Boston, and then I came to LA when I was like in 2nd grade, and then moved to Santa Ana when I was in like 3rd grade. So all my memories are here, but I don't remember shit about elementary school.
Yeah, it is like flashes. You get flashes
junior high,
here and there.
It's like you wake up all of a sudden and you're in junior high, and now you're starting to see what's going on around you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So did you move from LA to OC when you went in junior high?
Yeah, so 8th grade started out in Brea. So,
okay.
Yeah, nice neighborhood. I got like elderly Asian neighbors. So
were you doing any sports growing up?
Yeah, I was playing ice hockey mostly.
Ice hockey?
Yeah.
Like legit ice hockey?
Yeah.
Like on with the ice skates and everything?
Yeah, get to smack people into the wall.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I would have loved to try that shit, but bro, I remember the one time I put ice skates on, bro, I fell all over the place and I didn't want to do that shit no more.
Bro, I didn't know how to skate backwards, so I was using my stick to kind of push me back the first time.
It's crazy because I actually got a shout out to Lily, my cousin. She's an Olympian from England.
Oh,
she lives in Wales, and she's been doing it since she's a kid. She's like, she does all that, like the dancing stuff and the jump. That shit's crazy.
That's
bro.
crazy, Olympian.
But the ice hockey I like because I like the fights.
Same. Yeah, that was my favorite part. Yeah.
Who does not tune in to watch ice hockey because you're hoping that at some point they're gonna stop, they're gonna square off, and they're gonna try to bing.
That's the original bare knuckle.
I remember I only went to one ice hockey game. It was the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
And I was just hoping that the whole time I'm sitting there hoping that they get into a fight. And there was 2 of them that night. So I was like, that was a good experience.
There we go, made it.
Did you ever throw them? Did you ever throw them in the ice hockey?
Yeah, like a lot. Yeah, that was my favorite part. I'm very aggressive naturally, so every time I hit someone, they hit my friend. I was like, oh no, fuck no. Like,
yeah, get after it. So you played ice hockey till what age?
All the way from like 8 to 18.
Damn.
Yeah, so
you really played that shit.
Yeah, went out to New York in high school to go play out there, try and get scholarships for college.
Wow. So I didn't know, like, I haven't heard of too many people, like, I haven't known too many people that have took that route. So you were really serious about that shit.
Yeah.
Were you thinking of going pro with the ice hockey?
I was, yeah. That's always the plan. Like any sport I've ever done, I was like, fuck, I want to be the best at this. Like, I want to go pro. This is dope. Like,
hell yeah. And that was the only sport you done?
I did lacrosse as well, but same thing. It's like hockey on land.
I don't know, for some reason I always thought you were a wrestler.
No. So in my 3rd MMA fight, I got fucked up by a wrestler. This dude was like, he would take me down. He was like sitting right there talking shit a little bit, and he's like, I'm gonna let you up and I'm gonna take you down again. I'm like, fuck you, let me up. Yeah, I was like, let me up, let's see what happens. Lets me up, I throw one punch, I'm on my back. I'm like, well, fuck, like, I guess so.
I guess you're right, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then I had to learn how to wrestle after that. I'm like, never again.
Okay, so let's take it back, because it might be the ears, dog. I always thought, like, when I seen pictures, I was like, that motherfucker's a wrestler right
This is like 2 practices at Santa Ana College. I snapped some dude's head down and it came back up and hit me.
That was it?
Yeah.
I remember, it's funny talk about the ears, right? Is like, I remember when I was a blue belt, and like I I just got my first cauliflower in my ear, and it swelled up, and I went to the bathroom because I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the hell is that? And I went in the room, and I looked, and I was like, oh, shit. And I thought to myself, damn, you want to have fucked up ears? I said, fuck it. And I went right back on the mat and just started fucking up.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, who gives a fuck, right? But yeah, so you were doing lacrosse, and you were doing the ice hockey, and then what happens? Did you go to a college for that?
No, I stopped after high school, moved back. Like, I fucked up a little bit. Like, I was fucking around a little bit in my senior year. You know how it is.
What were you doing?
Smoking weed mostly. So like,
that's not fucking up now. Come on, bro.
Back then it was. Back then, 2010, dog. It was still not cool.
How things have changed, right? Back then, like I remember, like if you had weed, like the police were like on you. It was crazy, bro.
For sure. Like
I remember because I used to ride around with ounces and stuff, and I would smoke blunts in the car and everything and shit, man. Yeah, it's like it was looked at like really crazy, and to think how many people did time behind that shit,
it's wild.
And now it's fucking
people
legal.
Doing life still for it,
and it's fucking legal now. Yeah. People are growing farms of that shit, bro, and you got people doing time still. They need to change all that shit. But yeah, bro. So I don't look at it like too bad, but I can see if it affects what you're doing with your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're just sitting at home smoking and you got nothing positive you're doing, because like for me, I'm a creative person. If I smoke, I'll go run a marathon after that. I'll swim 40 laps.
I'm the same way. Yeah. I'll go run like 10 miles and be like, dude, this is great.
Shout out to the Diaz brothers, like shit like that. But yeah, so you start smoking weed and you start getting into a little bit of trouble, so you end up moving back over here?
Yeah, so I come back to California and I start working at this pizza shop with my best friend, and we're over there and he just hits me up one day. He's like, hey, tomorrow 7 a.m. you down to go train, go try MMA? I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like cardio kickboxing class, let's do it.
Had you been watching MMA up to that point?
For sure. I was obsessed with it when I was at the high school in New York. We started this like underground fight club at the thing. We'd have like a basement downstairs, so we'd have a bunch of dudes go down there with little MMA gloves I brought from fucking Big Five, and we just start scrapping.
Hood fights 101.
That shit was so fun. But always watching The Ultimate Fighter, I was like, fuck, this is so cool.
Yeah. And so that's a great introduction to it, just being with some homies and fucking around fighting, because I used to do that shit with boxing gloves all the time. Like,
we would always be in front with like hockey helmets and hockey gloves, or just like start wrestling and shit for no reason.
You gotta be able to know how to fight a little bit. Yeah. So then they say you down to go train. What gym did you go to first off? Do you remember?
No Limits. So right now it's a Floor and Decor, but it's No Limits back in the day. This big ass warehouse.
Been there.
Yeah. That was
shout out to No Limits and all the people that have been involved with that, because I know all of them, like Jiva, Giuliano,
legends.
Kano, all like they're still all out here thriving and teaching and
doing really well. Yeah.
Giuliano's been on the podcast. I'm hoping to have Colin. We've talked about him on the podcast, but
he's a cool cat. I love that dude. Yeah,
absolute legends. And that gym, like people that don't know, like I said before when we talked about No Limits was the shit. That place was the MMA gym of Orange County. It was the biggest spot out here, bro.
Yeah.
I remember walking into it, I was like, what the fuck? It was huge, beautiful, had everything there, right?
One of the first like big gyms in California, or Southern California at least.
And a lot of good guys came out of there.
Yeah.
A lot of good guys came out of there. So you just went there straight off the bat to No Limits and started training?
Yeah, just started, like, luckily I found a good gym. It's not some like hole in the wall. But I went over there. I started with the cardio kickboxing class. But like as soon as I went in, I saw the jiu-jitsu guys going. Like everyone's grappling. I seen people in the gym like spar, or people in the boxing ring sparring. So I just like see the whole energy of the gym. I'm like, dude, I fucking love this place. So next day 7 a.m., next day 7 a.m. all the way till like 2. Next day just keep going, and then I never left for 10 years.
Did you like right away, what did you feel like was your favorite part of MMA when you started doing that? Did you like all of it, or was there a certain area you were like, I like this part the most?
I thought jiu-jitsu was gay at first. Like see all these dudes like north-southing each other. I'm like, I don't want to do that. But then so I naturally fell in love with the striking.
It's only gay if you look in the eyes.
Yeah. All right, don't you look at me.
No disrespect to the LBG community.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so like I naturally fell in love with the striking first, and like me and my friend went in the boxing ring on the first day. He started talking shit, I was talking shit back. Like, fuck you, let's go in the ring then. Like, there's one right there. Go in the cage and just start beating the shit out of each other. No technique, nothing, just swinging hammers. Yeah, and then Giuliano saw it and he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
You guys are trying to kill each
look,
other.
Like, come tomorrow, come try jujitsu, come try this, and we'll do something.
Yeah. Giuliano's got a good head on his shoulders, man. He's a great coach and a good dude, and he's been around a long time, and he like, you know, his stories is amazing where he's gotten to, you know, coming from Brazil, and to see like how, man, dude is doing great, you know.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that he's helped is also the bigger picture for me. I always look at, for being a coach and being a martial artist, is like, how many people do you affect? How many people do you help? And that dude, Giuliano, shout out to Giuliano, has helped a lot a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Has had his hands on him. Okay, so you start training MMA, and then take me like when is it when you start to? Did you start competing right away? Did you compete in jiu-jitsu?
I did like,
you went straight, because I'm not assuming that you went straight into MMA fight.
No. I did like 4 jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Even though you didn't see guys, even though you didn't like jiu-jitsu, like most likely Giuliano and the guys were like, go do some jiu-jitsu tournaments first just to get started, to have that feeling of competition. Yeah.
Well, like same thing, like just get used to people watching you, get used to you and one guy like competing in the middle. Like it takes a while, you know.
It's a good way to get you ready if you haven't already, like, you know, done wrestling or done some type of martial art competition, kickboxing or judo. Like if you don't have any like fight competition, like that's a good way to get you kind of, you know, ready for what you're gonna do when you get in there.
Yeah, get ready for the spotlight. Everyone cheering or going against you, you know.
Yeah, and that's the fun shit. And then so you start doing the jiu-jitsu competitions. How'd you do in jiu-jitsu? Were you good?
Like like same thing. Once I tried a couple classes, I was like, fuck, dude, this is dope. I get to like
you get strangled, motherfucker.
Yeah, but I'm a control guy. Like I like not letting you being able to move. Yeah. Like, all right, cool. Like you do whatever I want right now. Like this is my time.
Yeah. And you know, like that's one thing that's very important. I always talk to my students about is in jiu-jitsu is the control of a person. Yeah. Because the reality is, I always keep reminding people, like, what you see, the sport jiu-jitsu is not what jiu-jitsu was intended for. Jiu-jitsu was intended for a fight. Like a full fight. Like, you know, from the feet to the ground with punching involved, all that. So if you're not practicing all that, are you really gonna be like able to defend yourself when you got a dude like, you know, big dude out of prison and at a bar that's gonna come at you, and he's not gonna grapple with you, he's gonna try to swing at you every place you're at.
Yeah, what you do? Like, come on, get in.
Like, so you know, just like I keep saying it, like I love jiu-jitsu, like, but it's, you know, I was taught from the beginning MMA. Yeah, you got to know how to do it all. You know, what I'm saying?
Just in case.
And then I grew up, you know, kind of fighting in the streets and stuff, so it was like, I didn't know how to wrestle or none of that shit. We all just throwing hands, and
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get to it, right? So so you start competing in jiu-jitsu and you start loving it, and then do the guys start is it you that wants to start doing the MMA or
no? So like originally, I started training in July of 2010. And then August, they had a fight coming up. So like, hey, you down to do it? Signed up, got everything ready, cut the weight. Same thing back then, didn't know how to cut weight. So I just like fucking sat in the sauna for 2 hours. Like, it sucks. Ate whatever I wanted the night before.
Starving, dying.
Shit was wild, man.
Yeah. The growing pains, learning stages.
Yeah, that fight got canceled because the opponent pulled out. Couldn't find another one. So then we ended up fighting like the next month, whatever, September of that year.
And it was your first fights were amateur, or you went straight pro?
Amateur. Yeah.
How many amateur fights did you have?
17.
17 amateur fights?
Which like it sounded crazy at the time.
Is that not on your record? Because how many you got? 22 pro fights? Or less than that?
I don't know.
You have a lot of fights. I know you have 22 fights that on
22
on altogether that I've seen. But are the 17 of those are not amateur fights?
The amateurs were different. Like same thing. You just had the gloves and the rash guard back then. Like it was
right. But what I'm saying is like your pro record. Do you know what your pro record is right now?
14-8.
14-8. So you've had 22 plus 17.
Yeah,
that's what the fuck I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you had a fucking lot of amateur fights, bro.
Yeah, that's but it was crazy. Easier to get them. Like we were fighting like once a month, twice a month. Like just they told me, hey, you want to fight? Fuck yeah, let's do it.
I didn't see none of that on your record. I must have looked at the wrong one.
They had the camel one, but I fought out of state a few times too.
Were you just KOing fools and amateurs?
Started towards the end, yeah. Like, it's some good ones. Yeah.
Your whole time, okay, so as you start competing in amateurs, had you switched gyms or you just stayed the whole time at No Limits?
No, I was at No Limits for about like 6 years.
6 years, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you that was your base there. And that whole 6 years you started fighting. How many years did you hit the amateurs? You remember?
It's a good question. Probably like 2 or 3.
I think 3 years
yeah.
Amateur. 17 fights. Yeah, that's a lot of fights. So you had a wealth of experience before you turned pro.
Yeah, which like at the time you never want to go through it. You know, you're like, fuck, dude, I want to go pro. I want to start making money. But then I'd have a close fight and be like, well, fuck, I got to fix that before. And then my coaches were really good at the time. Adriano and Giuliano, they would always tell me like, dog, like, you saw this hole, we got to fix it. You seen this, we got to fix it. And then you can go pro. You know,
Yeah.
It's always like one more thing. And then we finally got there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fixing.
Yeah.
A lot of fights.
Which like I'm grateful for because my first 5 fights felt like
Yeah, I mean that
was ready.
That goes to show you, like, you know, like for those guys coming up now that want to do MMA, you got to kind of it's probably better for you to get that amateur experience and fix your holes and go through your trials and tribulations there before you get to the guys that, you know, are going to be the best crackers in the world. They're the best strikers, you know, bangers, whatever.
you
You
find a
wanna
Muay
go.
Thai legend, fight one, like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, you better be ready for all that shit. So yeah, bro. And then you had the 17 amateur fights, and then you just went off a tear as a pro.
Yeah,
You fought for Ed too in LFA, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Ed Soares, a friend of the show. He's been here. He's the homie.
That dude's super cool. He gave me a lot of fights with them. So
Well, you have a nice highlight that I seen in the LFA. It was a nice knockout where you're walking around going crazy. I seen that one before you got in the UFC. So you had how many fights did you have outside the UFC before you got to the UFC? Was your goal always as you start?
19.
Were you always the goal was always to get to the UFC? Of course, when you started fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because one of my one of my other coaches, EJ Chavez, he fought pro in the circuit as well, and then he made it to UFC after
the UFC.
After 5 fights. So I was like, fuck, that's the thing. Like, I got to get 5 good knockouts, like 5 good finishes, and then I can make it too. But then I lose my 6 fights. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah. I think you lost to
Darren Smith. Yeah.
That guy's had a fucking lot of fights.
Yeah.
That dude's been around a while. He trained at OCK back in the days. I ended up taking over OCK before it closed down and stuff. And the whole gym ended up coming with me. But yeah, man, that's so. So you start fighting, you start going on a tear, you lose. What do you remember what that feeling was after your first loss in the pros?
It was fucking horrible. Yeah, I was like, I never want to do this again.
Losing sucks, but like, did it motivate you to keep going? Like after that, like did it push you afterwards? Because I know how I've been throughout my life is when I get setbacks. You know, shit that goes wrong and mistakes in my life, it always motivates me to do better and to push myself to another level. And I feel like each time things like that happens and bad things happen, I only get better from it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So that's what you did. You went and end up coming back from that loss, and you start fighting and you keep fighting. And one day, tell me how you find out you got to the UFC.
Yeah,
and then at this time, you got to tell me as far as No Limits. Were you still at No Limits when all this stuff happened, or had you started?
No, so by the time I made it to the UFC, I was at Team Oyama with Colin.
Okay, so so No Limits. Colin was teaching there, but then he ended up opening his own place.
Team Oyama now.
Team Oyama, which he's got Carla Esparza, the women's champion out of there, and he's coached a lot of champions.
Just walking through the walls in that place is nuts. Like how many people he's worked with. Rampage is a big one he worked with, bringing them up. Like that was crazy.
And so, like after your last fight, did you know you were getting in the UFC, or was it a surprise?
No, it was kind of a surprise because that was like, it was a good fight and everything, but I didn't like. They said like maybe one more, maybe another. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, let me know when the next fight is. I'm gonna still train, still do everything my same, but now I'm like, enjoy the rest of my life, you know?
Enjoy the rest of my life. Hell yeah. And then you get the phone call, like, dude, you're gonna fight in the UFC. Yeah,
it'd be like, hey, can you make weight? It was like a Wednesday. He's like, hey, can you make weight by Friday? I was like,
who called you?
My manager, Jason.
Jason House?
Jason House, yeah.
Jason House. I've heard lots of things about him. Good dude.
He was amazing. Yeah, he's given me like so many opportunities. This is crazy. Like I wouldn't be in there without his connection, his help. You know.
all about who you know sometimes, man.
All the time.
You know, and those opportunities, you got to take them. And I remember when you took your first fight, because I watched that fight in the UFC. And I, like I said, I had heard about you through the grapevine. And man, I was excited. I was like, this dude he fights from out of Orange County. I called my son Zach. Shout out to my son Zach. He's a big fan of MMA. So I'm like, come look. And bro, you went off. Yeah, you didn't fuck around. I remember you hit him like with a couple shots, and he kind of curled up, and it was like, bing, bing,
I was like, fuck, we're gonna do this. Start banging. Yeah,
what a feeling, right, bro? Like,
oh, dude, it was amazing. But like, it was in the Apex, so there was like 12 people there. Yeah, so I go around excited, shouting and shit, and I look around like, my family's not here. Like, coach is cool. Hey, started like calming down real quick. You're like, fuck, dude. Like, I got it.
It would have been like a lot more. Like, imagine like you were in front of like 50,000 people or 20,000 people going crazy with a knockout like that, because that was nuts, man. That was an exciting fight, man. And I watched your other fights after that fight. I started making sure I followed you after that, and you fought that kid Sean Brady. That kid's fucking good, dude. Yeah, he's fucking good, bro.
Strong for sure.
Christ, I didn't know, like, when I first started watching him fight, I didn't know like he had that good of jiu-jitsu. I'm like, okay, he trains with the Gracies. Like, I was like, yeah, but then I saw, I was like, damn, that was a good fight, man. Yeah, you're when you go out there, man, you go kill or be killed, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Something takes over. I'm like,
you got to get after it. It's fun to watch, bro. That's why it's like you're that type of fight. You're a fighter's fighter, because that's what I think people really want to see. Like, as much as it's cool to go out there to fight to win, it's also entertainment. Yeah, and what
I want to fight. Like it's a different feeling if you like just play touch the whole time versus when you fucking bang someone out.
You know, want like if I want to go watch Christian fight. Like, nobody wants to go see Christian run around the ring for 15 minutes and try to just score a couple points. People want to go there to see, you know, get after it, and that's the style you have, man. So
it's always been the goal. Like, I want to finish. Like, however the fuck we get there,
it's fucking entertaining, bro. And then the attitude and the swag with it, man. I'm a fan of watching you fight, bro. And so tell me, like, after the loss in the UFC, I don't know if I haven't heard much, and I don't know if the people have. Is like, what happened with the UFC? Did they cut you, or did you decide not to fight? Like, what's going on with your situation right now?
Like, we got cut.
You got cut, and that happens to the best of them. Yeah. So what was after that happens? What's the plan with MMA? Is MMA still in the idea? I know we got something coming up, which we're gonna talk about in a second. Yeah. But as far as like MMA goes, like, you still, like, I feel like, man, you're one of the best guys around at 170. You're the welterweight still, right? Yeah. And it's like, damn, man, I would love to see you back, you know.
What up, everybody? Want to take a quick second out of the podcast just to give a shout out to our sponsor, the best criminal defense attorney I know. The last time I got in trouble, I needed somebody that was going to look into my case and actually fight for me and get me the best deal possible, and he did that. And I'll make sure that he does that for you. Make sure you shout me out if you guys reach out to him. They're the sponsor of the Convo. You know anybody, a family member or yourself that make a mistake, you want somebody like him on your side. Arash, please let everybody know how they can get a hold of you.
Thank you. Arash Hashemi, 310-448-1529, or HashemiLaw.com, HashemiLaw.com, or just Google hashtag BetterCallHash. Remember that, BetterCallHash. You'll find me on every social media channel all over the internet. 310-448-1529.
You better call Hash.
I'm starting to get like, I feel the crazy coming back, you know, like, dude, start like, training, man, again, like,
yeah, because like, man, like you got it, man, and it's fun to see you fight. So I'm just thinking as far as like, man, I think, you know, like, there's still a lot of action for you too if you really wanted to get back in there, right? Like, you could easily jump back in there and get back into like a LFA or, you know, maybe even PFL. Yeah, and yeah, man,
32 right now, like, still got
dude,
time,
you're
you know,
still
like,
young, and like,
I still feel good too,
dude. Like, you look in shape. Like, I would love to see it, man. And like, I'm sure, like, if the fire's there and the motivation is there, then you're gonna do it, bro. And that's cool, man. Like, sometimes you got in life, you go through, like, who makes it to the UFC, bro? You
Yeah,
know what I
which
mean? That's some shit to be proud of. Like, that's a lifetime achievement that you have done. So even to sit back for a minute and be like, man, look, I made it that far, and like I was capable of getting to that level. Like, it's very rare. How many human beings in the planet make it to that level of fighting in the best promotion in the world, bro? So it's something to be proud of, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I absolutely believe you could easily get back in there and mix it up if you
I'm starting to
wanted
get the itch again, man, for sure. Yeah.
And that's what we're leading into. You're getting into the itch is like, what's going on? You're gonna be jumping back in there to be doing an event soon, actually, for Subversive
April 13th.
April 13th.
Yeah, at the Grove in Anaheim. It's gonna be cool. Combat Jiu Jitsu. So Jiu Jitsu with slaps.
Combat Jiu Jitsu, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can fucking do it, man. Like, that's the craziest shit. I like when they were told me, like, yeah, like, have you watched it? I was like, yeah, I kind of seen it, but I was just like, let me watch it again.
Yeah, I just see people get fucking smacked though. Like, I see some TKOs in that shit too.
This just goes to show you what we were saying earlier. Is like, you know, like maybe like as people practice jiu-jitsu, like start to incorporate a little bit of like the slapping and the, you know,
for sure,
you know, because my coach was old school, so we like not only did jiu-jitsu, but we did MMA. Like, there would be guys with boxing gloves on, and you have to be able to do jiu-jitsu when someone's punching you and shit like that.
Yeah, like that's the test. Like,
can
you do it in a real situation?
Can you do it in a real situation? And if you can't, then how can you call yourself, like, you know, a representative of jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, like, you can't have another belt. Like, that shit back.
Come on, man. Yeah, I remember, because I'll tell you a crazy story. It's like when I was first a white belt, and I remember Joe was doing his testing, and he's like, I want you to come help me. And he's like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is some secret shit. He's like, yeah, be here. And it's only the guys testing gonna be. I'm like, okay, cool. I get there, and he hands me boxing gloves. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Okay.
He's like, because we spar MMA and shit like that, but he's like, I want you to try and knock the guy out. I'm like, what do you mean?
Say less.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but I got heavy hands, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I hit some of these guys so fucking hard, bro. He stopped me. He's like, okay, no more.
Yeah, you gotta make it realistic. Hey, fool, where you from?
Yeah. I didn't know. He told me to knock. Like, he's like, you hit them, they can only do jiu-jitsu. And I was fucking cracking fools. But what I noticed that day was that when it's a real situation and somebody's swinging like hard punches and you're just sitting there trying to do jiu-jitsu, dude, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different than what people like. So yeah, man, I always made sure my guys understood that when, you know, teaching jiu-jitsu and shit. But man, this is going to be crazy. You're fighting HERMAN TERRADO.
Yeah.
Have you seen him fight or anything? Because
I've seen his.
He's also a mixed martial artist.
Yeah, so he fought PFL, fought Bellator.
Yeah, he's a big dude, man.
He is, yeah, like muscles. And should be cool.
Well, I believe he's an Islander, right? He's Hawaiian. I'm not sure. I was looking into see. I got some friends through the grapevine. Shout out to my friend Glenn that know him as well. But what's the plan is for this one? Like, there's no so. I've watched a little bit, but I haven't seen Subversive yet. So do you know the rules? What's the rule set? You're gonna come out. There's no slaps on the feet.
No slaps on the feet.
No. Why can't there? There should be slaps on the feet, right? Don't you think
get wild though?
Yeah,
it's gonna turn closed real quick. Like,
you know, there are gonna be no slaps on the feet, because if they do that, they're gonna start swinging.
Yeah, like we just fight at that point.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it.
Okay, so you got the goal is to probably get the takedown. I mean, what the fuck would you want to be on the bottom for?
That's true. Yeah.
You know,
definitely like
another rule set that like being on the bottom is not going to be great for you.
Yeah, like there's certain positions you can't play, obviously, like deep half and like a very loose half and shit like that. Like even the guard's dangerous now. So
going for leg locks and shit, like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, that's a big.
You gotta do honey hole when someone's slapping you.
Yeah,
like, fuck.
Yeah, be careful with that. Like, that's why people get the wrong impression of jiu-jitsu sometimes, man. You see all these moves that look all creative and fancy in just jiu-jitsu, but pull that shit off in MMA.
Yeah. See what happens. We've seen it.
Yeah. We've seen what happened. Like, I remember watching, do you remember Ryan Hall fighting Ilya Taporia?
Yeah.
Man, fuck. I was
getting his fucking head.
Dude, I was like, come on, he's going to get, there's some way he's going to, but he had nothing. You know, it's crazy, man. So yeah, you gotta be ready for everything when it goes to that. But this shit's gonna be fun. What's the plan? What's the game plan as far as the training for this? Where are you training at for the match?
Over at 10 Planet Orange, 10 Planet Fullerton.
There's
and then
Mike John.
Mike John's over there. Yeah, he's competing.
I haven't met Mike John, but I actually have met Mike John. I met him at 7-Eleven.
Okay, hell yeah.
Lisa, shout out to Lisa and Mike, friend of the show. I ran into Mike at at Lisa's job.
Okay.
And I didn't know Lisa like was a fighter at first. I looked at her, but I was like, man, she looks mean. Like,
yeah,
she
got that face.
She's mean mugging me. Like, as I swap by, I was like, damn. And then one day she's wearing a Richie Palomino t-shirt.
Yeah.
And Richie started jiu-jitsu and MMA with me.
Okay.
So I gave him his blue belt. From white to blue belt, he was with me, and then he went to Rounders. So when I saw his shirt, I was like, hey, you know Richie? And then we started chopping it up. And then I was like, yeah, you should come train. And then one day I was there, I met Mike. Mike's really good, right? He's a smaller guy.
Yeah, he's like a 145, I think, but he's fucking good.
Do you roll with him a lot?
Yeah. Especially for this camp, like I need guys who are just gonna be on me and I can't get off, you know?
Yeah. He's that dude. Like I see he competes like every weekend.
Yeah.
And you guys all train at 10th Planet. You guys all train no gi over there all the time,
yeah.
right? Give me like a training session, because for you, like for example, getting ready for this fight for this type of match, like because this is not just just a jiu-jitsu match. So what are you doing in the training room right now to prepare for this shit?
Right now it's mostly just jiu-jitsu.
Slaps?
Right. Like, I still look for my positions. I'm looking for it. I'm seeing like where they're open on theirs.
Are you playing with it a little bit? Like
okay,
yeah.
Like I'm working on the postures, working on everything, trying to find the balances.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna work a lot more of the slaps with my other coach EJ.
Yeah.
He's a Giuliano black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just gonna man, just
there's more of the MMA look on that side, you know?
Yeah, be on top and try to work the slaps and get into a dominant position. But yeah, man, it's just gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm excited.
So like training for this fight, like how many days a week are you doing jiu-jitsu?
Every day. Yeah,
every
7,
day?
Yeah.
How many hours a day you train?
Usually like 2 or 3 jiu-jitsu, and then I'll go run or go lift or something.
2 or 3 hours doing jiu-jitsu. Like, give me like a session, bro. Like for example, I'm coming with you today for a session. What do you do in those 2-3 hours?
I usually go
at the jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah. So we'll do we'll just go through drills first, like different positions. Do that
like live drills. Like getting out of side control, like what kind of drills are
semi-live? It's more just like looking at the pathways, kind of like playing with each other. Yeah,
going over the moves and shit. Like,
yeah,
like flowing a particular move over and over. Okay, so you guys do that about how long?
Maybe like 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And so you're already getting warm. You're going through the movements. Is it like a chain of movements that you guys are working on particularly that day, or is it just whatever you guys
First
want?
It's like free flow, and then we'll get into start doing the chains we're working on.
Oh, okay, that's dope. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so after 30 minutes of that,
I'll probably go into another like 45 to an hour of technique stuff, and then start live rolls.
Okay, so you guys get a good amount of technique.
Yeah.
That's a long time, man. I usually teach about like I try to do about 25-30 minutes, but that's kind of normal. And then you guys go live full on rolls from the feet.
Yeah.
You start because you want to get all the rounds from the feet that you can, especially because this is what you're
that's me when people butt scoot towards me. I'm like,
dude,
like, come on, dog.
I've never, Joe would. Yeah, Joe's a judo guy,
Yeah.
Like, so if you see, he hated that seeing that
like,
shit.
Oh, okay, you want to sit down, motherfucker?
But like realistic, like you wouldn't want to do that. Would you do that in the street?
No, I'll kick you in the face.
Would you do that if you end up in a jail cell? Would you sit on where would you do that at?
Yeah,
on a jiu-jitsu tournament. Which is okay, but like it's not what jiu-jitsu was intended for.
No way.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but I'm not a fan of it at all. But hey, if you can go for a takedown and then you miss the takedown and then you pull guard from there because you're gonna be on the top turtle position, then okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know 100%. What I'm saying. But don't just fucking sit on your butt.
Yeah, you're just gonna start like, come on, dog. Like,
what if Herman sits on his butt? You'd be like, hell yeah,
coming in with slams, dog.
Appreciate you, dog. Hell yeah. So this are you getting paid good for this, bro?
Honestly, I don't know.
Are you getting paid? You should.
I don't know. I never really asked for it. Like
it's on UFC Fight Pass. Am I right? So UFC Fight, for you guys that don't know, UFC Fight Pass is an app where they have like all the fights going. They have like everything that you can watch, from old fights to the new shit to the TV shows and all that stuff. And man, like it's gonna be on there. You should be getting bread, bro.
Yeah, like they gave me an opportunity and I said, fuck yeah, let's do it. So I passed that. I didn't really look at anything. That's about it. Yeah. They say you down. I was like, fuck yeah.
So tell me, bro, like outside of like outside of the fighting, like what have you been getting into, like as far as your future and like setting up things for yourself outside of fighting?
So I opened up a restaurant in 2020, like end of the pandemic, right after my first UFC fight. I opened up a wings restaurant, JD's Wings and Things in Placentia.
JD's Wings and Things.
Yeah.
Oh shit! For you guys that don't know, I love wings, bro.
Oh, you gonna learn today?
I'm a keto guy, man. So that's one of the things that I do eat a lot. So man, I'm excited to might have to put in a little order and get some in a second. But yeah. So like, what made you want to do that, bro? Like you always came up eating wings.
I do like tiny foods, like anything that should be large but is smaller, like a drumstick versus a chicken wing. Like I'd take chicken wing every time.
Hell yeah.
So like we used to have the fights in my house. Before I even started fighting, I was a huge UFC fan. So like every weekend we're watching the fights. I know all the fighters. I'm like obsessed with the sport, you know. So I had people over and then I just start cooking. Like I like wings, so everyone's gonna like wings now. So I started making them and they slowly started getting better and better. And then my friend called me one day. He's like, "Hey, let's go for a drive." We pull up at this spot, no sign on it, old Subway. Go look in. He's like, "Hey, let's go inside." I was like, "All right, cool." He's like, "Hey, I think we could do something here. The food's getting good. Like, I know restaurants. I think we can make something happen."
It was a place. This was place that already was moving.
So it was closed for like I think like 2 months before or something.
And it was a spot already.
It used to be a Subway. It was the largest Subway in North America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was a Subway, and if it was the largest one, it was probably in a good location.
Nice corner spot right in Placentia, close to the downtown area. A lot of like old famous restaurants down there as well.
Yeah.
Farolito's down there.
Man, you got me hungry. Hold on a second. Y'all, give me a second. We're going to put an order in right now.
Hell yeah.
Hold on a second. Hey, man, can somebody put an order in for some JD's wings, man? We got to try this out. Give me a...
Shit.
We need them in like 5 minutes.
World's best wings. Let's go.
We got to see, like, man, we can't just talk about wings on the show. We can't just talk about wings on the show, bro, and not see what you're talking about, because we got to do a review and test them. So we just put in a little order that we're going to test on the show. But yeah, man, that's crazy. So just from watching the fights and loving to cook for your boys and shit, and I know how you feel, because I love to watch fights and hang with the boys and, you know, have some fun and, you know, just enjoy myself sometimes. And that's what we do. We get together, we eat. So from having that love, you're like, let me make a fucking dope ass a wing spot.
Yeah, it was another time. It was like, you down? I was like,
you already knew the name and everything you wanted to do?
No.
How'd you come up with the name?
JD's my son.
JD's your son.
Yeah,
shout out to JD. Shout out to your son.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How old's your boy right now?
He's 3.
He's 3. Oh,
yeah,
man.
So he's full of energy, fighting other kids.
Is that your
and
only
shit.
one?
No, I have a daughter as well. She's 1.
Wow, man. That's great, man. Those are the best times, man. Like I always tell people, man. I was telling Julio Real, shout out to my boy Julio. He's got a little girl. I keep telling him, I say, enjoy these when they're small, because it goes by so quick, bro. And it's the best times. I miss being able to, like, you know, we got a delivery.
Oh, it's wing 30.
Here we go. I miss those days where, you know, we could, you know,
just you rush me. We're promoting this guy's thing.
Yeah. Oh shit! Look, y'all. Look at that. That's a first, right? We got. Shout out to SmoothE for the delivery. We appreciate you, brother. Shout out to my black belt.
It's gorgeous. I love it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hey, so what was I saying, man? I got lost right there, man. Those wings look damn good. I'm hungry. I haven't ate all day, bro. I waited. I said, man, if he's coming through, man, I'm gonna have to wait and eat some chicken today. But yeah, man. So you start doing the wings, and how's that going right now? Where is it located at?
Placentia, right on the corner of Bradford and Chapman.
Bradford and Chapman and Placentia. And Placentia's in Orange County?
Orange County, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys it's still around. Do you guys do deliveries and shit like that?
We do delivery, catering. We'll do whatever, dog.
Catering.
We want as many people to try our wings as possible, because we bake our wings and we think baked is better.
Man, you know what I think is dope is I like seeing you go from not just being, you know, a martial artist, a fighter, to doing some shit that's like entrepreneur, becoming a boss, become opening, creating job. Because not only did you open a business, you're creating jobs for other people as well, which is what people don't see is when you open businesses, you help employ people.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool, bro. And man, I'm definitely gonna come check you guys' spot out. And do you guys have any like specials or something that people should look out for? Like, what's the best? If I'm going to your spot and you were gonna tell me, dog, you gotta try this flavor. What do you recommend your top 2 flavors, bro?
Ooh, I'm a classic guy. I like lemon pepper for sure, but our mango habanero is a close second. We make it in house, fresh mangoes, fresh habaneros from my grandma's garden. Like it's fucking amazing. It's refreshing. It's delicious.
That's excited for that. You said garlic parmesan. Which one's the garlic parmesan?
These ones right here.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna go with garlic parmesan. We're gonna test it right before.
I brought you some Reapers too. That's our hottest one.
Hell yeah, bro. Man, I'm gonna feast, but we're gonna do one on the camera for you guys so you guys can see and I can give a little review. But man, bro, like I'm super excited. Like I haven't been to any of these combat jiu-jitsu, but I'm definitely a fan of watching you fight, bro. And I think like sky's still the limit. I mean, you're still so young. You still train with a lot of great people, and you seem like you got your shit together, bro. And I would love to see you back in there. But first things first, take care of business on April 13th.
Yes, sir.
At Subversive.
Boom.
And you guys can catch that on UFC Fight Pass. If you don't got a subscription, get one because you can watch a lot of other shit. And a lot of good fights on there and content. And then if you want to go to the fight, it's at the Grove in Anaheim. And do you know how much tickets are?
I think they're like $50.
$50, man. That's nothing to see somebody slap the shit out of somebody.
Just strapping young men.
see what a little taste of jiu-jitsu with some slaps involved. All right, guys. So this is what we're gonna do. Christian, before I do this tester of this chicken, bro, if there's anybody you want to shout out, your family, your coaches, man, I appreciate you coming here and telling me a little bit about your story and what you've been through, man. A lot of fights, respect above everything, and I'm gonna be supporting you along the rest of the way of your career. And if you ever need a platform to talk about anything, I'll be glad to be here to support you in anything you do, brother. And if you want to shout anybody out, I saw on if you guys go to his Instagram, you can see his highlight that I was talking about today on the UFC, and you're actually available for training sessions and all that.
Yeah, of course. So
please tell people, bro, how they can get a hold of you and all that.
Hit me up on Instagram, DatBeastChris, DATBeastChris. I respond to everything. Shout out to all my gyms too. Team Oyama, Classic Fight Team, 10th Planet. Let's go.
10th Planet.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to both gyms. Respect. I always like to say, guys, we should be lifting each other all up. And, I'm a Team Joe Moreira guy, but, respect the 10th Planet. Respect the Team Oyama. I respect to all these gyms here in my town. I love to see us grow and be martial artists, and we're doing a great job out here. So respect above everything. And let's see what's up with this lemon pepper, bro.
Let's go. These are the hot ones. Those ones will fuck you up a little bit.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, we don't fuck around with wings. I'm gonna take this shit serious.
Oh, goddamn. Excuse my language, bro. Listen, this is what I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Okay, I'm keeping it 100. I go to Wingstop. I go to this place called the Buffalo Spot. I go to Buffalo Wild Wings. I've been to a lot of spots. That's that motherfucking real chicken,
that's
bro.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
that better.
That's that real chicken. That tastes good. The seasoning is real. That shit is fire, bro.
Hell yeah.
The review is there. Y'all need to go check out JD's Wings. Y'all need to go check out Christian Aguilera. Y'all check out Subversive. Man, thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate you for coming through, brother. Respect.
Thank you,
Respect.
brother. Hell yeah.
Like, subscribe, tell your mama and your daddy and your cousins and your aunties too. Peace.